Hi everyone! So today I just want to talk a little bit about the current global pandemic, so COVID-19, and social media. And I want to just look into the relationship that these two have and the effects that social media is having on the situation. So I don't know about you guys, but for me at the moment, every single notification I get on social media and every story I see on the news is all about COVID-19. So there are currently over 692,000 cases worldwide of COVID-19, with over 35,000 deaths. And as these numbers rise, I think so does the amount of fear in people. And one thing that definitely doesn't help the fear and the anxiety people have regarding the situation is social media. Social media has this power to control the minds of those susceptible to it. And I think especially in a situation such as this, it's so dangerous because of the fact that there are mistruths being shared online as well. So while there are reliable news sources that you do look for, there's also a large amount of things that get shared online which aren't true, but people read what they want to read, and this is what spreads so much fear and anxiety. And I think when something so dangerous is spread so fast, it's almost impossible for a social media platform to control that. The World Health Organization released a statement saying we are currently facing a pandemic and an infodemic, and I'm gonna put the definition of an infodemic down below, but it's basically the notion that we are being given too much information almost. Some of that's accurate, some of it's not, but it's hard to separate the truths from the mistruths. I think because the World Health Organization became aware of this dangerous fact that people were given so much information and not sure what to do with it, they've actually now partnered with platforms such as Facebook and Twitter and TikTok to try and tackle this infodemic online and make sure people are getting the right information. I mean, you've got to imagine there are currently thousands on thousands on thousands of people spreading all these rumors and all this false information. During the time of the pandemic, there has also been a large amount of intense arguments online for government decisions or speeches that are made. And it's tricky because a study by Wahlberg and Schoberg in 2000 showed that the media is known to exaggerate some things and ignore others a bit more, which makes sense because they obviously want to generate the most interaction on their platforms. It's just that then, in regards to a global pandemic, when things are announced online or on social media, there comes a risk with it as well. The BBC already highlights that even without a pandemic going on, social media is already known to generate so much stress and anxiety, increases depression, it influences people's moods, and it also really takes a toll on your well-being. So you can imagine then as well, now in such a situation, the fact that it's just skyrocketing through the roof, the effects that social media is having on people. There's a lot of posts and memes that are going crazy at the moment regarding coronavirus. But I found a few examples online of posts that have gone viral that are pretty ridiculous, but people have taken them on and have taken it to be true. So I'll share a few of those with you now. So this first one is one I came across a few days ago, and basically it's called the coronavirus self-check test, and it's given people 3 options of things they can do to check at home if you have coronavirus or not. So the first test that you can do at home, according to this source, is you can drink water because drinking water will protect you against the coronavirus. The second point that the source has stated is that gurgling salt and water will prevent the coronavirus as well. So it'll make you immune to it. And the third test you can do at home is you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, and if you cough you have coronavirus, and if you don't cough, you're in the clear. I mean, you can imagine the reaction this post got. It's about coronavirus, so people are going to share it no matter what it says. But then on the other half, there's the other side of the population, the people who probably don't bulk buy toilet paper, who then say like, hold up, let's think about this for a minute, is this realistic? Alright, now the second example I found was actually from a small town in Ukraine, which I'm not going to pronounce the name of, but I'll put it here below. And it's basically just about the small town and how it's absolutely turned upside down because of a lack of information and false information spread online, and also a targeted fake news campaign. So basically, there was a large amount of false information spread in a very short time, and the town basically went crazy. People were going crazy. There ended up being 9 officers injured, 24 people being arrested for riots, 5 people charged, a statement from the Prime Minister towards the town. And yeah, I think it just demonstrates the danger of social media in an age of such effective interconnectedness. And it also, I think, just really shows the effect that social media can have, because in the end, all the information that had been spread online was not true, and everyone was panicking, thinking the coronavirus was gonna spread all over town. But yeah, I think it just really, really demonstrates the power of social media. I spoke with Dr. Karen Sutherland, a lecturer at the University of the Sunshine Coast, and asked her for her opinions on the relationship between the current pandemic and social media. And she gave a great insight to the effects she thinks it's having on society. So take a look at that.
My name is Dr. Karen Sutherland, and I'm actually employed as a lecturer in public relations at the University of the Sunshine Coast, but I coordinate the Bachelor of Communication Social Media, and all my research area is all social media. And my PhD looked at social media in non-profit organisations. So I developed an interest in social media quite early, and I still have it. I think there's so much misinformation, and I think for the first time I've ever seen was, I think it was either last week or last week, Facebook actually went out and actually started posting on everyone's feed where to get proper information. And that's a big thing for Facebook, because if you remember, they were very reluctant to stop, any sort of misinformation in terms of political ads. They said we're about free speech, but so they were quite happy for any sort of rubbish to be on the news feeds. But for this, they've actually taken a stand, which is pretty significant. So I can see how, people get scared, and particularly around this whole panic buying and things like that. People are, you can see the impact offline of the stuff that's being shared online, which is a worry.
Yeah.
I think the only thing they can do is report it. When they're seeing that sort of misinformation, you can report any post, but I mean, how quickly Facebook acts on that, who knows? I think it's just because now they're using AI mainly now, and because even their moderators, they can't be at work. So I think that it flags something in their system, but the chances that it'll be removed are very slim, because it's just so big. There's more than 2 billion people on Facebook, and if they're all sharing rubbish, how could anything stop that? Absolutely is dangerous. It's a double-edged sword. It can be amazing at getting information out, but there's so much misinformation out there. And they've done studies where they've shown people who believe stuff that's not factual, when they're shown the truth, often they won't believe the truth either. So it's really hard. It's a huge problem in terms of social media, particularly now. I think it's really up to the person to try and use it in a way that's going to be of most use to other people. I think the worst thing people can do is just blindly share things without checking if it's true or not. Instead, they should be, sharing stuff that's from valid news sources and medical, medical sources, and sharing happy things or good advice, or there's great things going on at the moment, showing what people are doing when they're home. I love TikTok, and there's the whole community on there is doing that right now, and it's funny. They're actually making light of the situation that we're home, and it's not by any means sort of downplaying the seriousness of it, but it's also showing that you can still have fun even during something like this, and have a laugh, because I think sometimes you need a sense of humour to get through something like what we have right now. So
it's crazy to think that the main purpose of social media is to keep everyone connected, so it should be such a positive thing in this time of isolation. There are current trends online, such as the hashtag #IStayAtHome, which was generated in Italy and is now spreading all over the world. It's being used on every social media platform. There's also stickers and all those sorts of things that people are using on their Instagram stories to really try and encourage people to stay home and stop going out and putting others in danger, which is great. It is really hard for social media platforms to control the information that is spread online. It's impossible for them to stop people from sharing certain things and not sharing other things. But I think this is a time for them to start looking at how they can sort through different posts and prioritize others over another, maybe prevent sharing on certain posts. But I think it's very clear to see that social media is having a pretty negative effect on the current pandemic situation, just in regards to the amount of fear that it's bringing to people. It should be just used in a very positive way. It should be used to just stay connected with family and encourage people to do the right thing, instead of spreading false information and creating arguments online, because things can get pretty brutal and words hurt. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you're using social media positively. Try not to share any false information. And yeah, stay at home. Be safe. See ya.